All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a seriously fascinating and highly strategic tenant-landlord standoff. We're looking at a situation at an Amblefield property where the tenants are sitting on a massive financial claim against their landlord, Preferred Property Management, or PPM for short. Think of this explainer as a tactical playbook. We're going to break down exactly how the source material outlines building an airtight legal case against a negligent landlord, how to calculate the true cost of their violations, and most importantly, how to execute a master negotiation strategy. $15,130. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the exact estimated value of the claim sitting right under these tenants' noses, because the landlord spent 2 full years violating safety codes and actually forcing the upstairs tenants to pay for other people's utilities. These tenants hold an incredible amount of leverage. If they decided to take PPM to court today, this is the substantial chunk of money they'd be fighting for.
Okay, so let's dive into the smoking gun. When the tenants originally signed their lease, this property was marketed as having a back deck. But for 2 whole years, that deck was never built. Instead, the back door just opens directly into a dangerous 7-foot drop. And when the tenants asked about fixing the severe building and fire code hazard, the property manager actually put this in writing: stop asking about the deck. This is absolutely crucial because it legally proves willful negligence. The landlord was fully aware of a life-threatening safety hazard, and they actively refused to fix it, trying to just hide behind some vague builder schedule clause.
Now, to actually win this, you need proof, right? This is the exact digital evidence package the Playbook recommends to build an airtight case against that deceptive marketing and utility theft. It's all about documentation, not just complaining. You need the original listing that promised the deck, photos of that crazy 7-foot drop, the original lease proving they paid a premium $2,350 a month, and copies of every single utility bill paid over the last 24 months. This right here is the foundation of their leverage.
All right, moving on to the target, the RTDRS Tribunal.
So in Alberta, you don't actually go to regular small claims court for rental issues. You bypass it entirely. Your target is a specialized fast-track tribunal called the Residential Tenancy Dispute Resolution Service, or RTDRS, and they can award up to $100,000. The whole process is actually incredibly accessible. For just a $75 online filing fee, the RTDRS schedules a binding telephone hearing. An officer acts just like a judge, reviews all your binding documents, and issues a final, enforceable financial judgment. And the best part? You don't even have to step foot in a courtroom. Step 1 in the playbook: counting the loot. Let's do the math. Because honestly, the missing deck is only half the story. The tenants paid $2,350 a month for a finished house, but what they got was an active construction zone and a 7-foot drop out of a major emergency exit. But it gets worse. Let's talk about the stolen utilities. Under the law, a landlord cannot make one tenant pay for an unmetered secondary suite, but PPM illegally siphoned electricity for 6 months for basement renovations, literally leaving the furnace on high with the windows wide open in the middle of winter. That's about a $1,500 overcharge right there. Then a basement tenant moves in for 12 months, add another $1,800. A vacant suite with the heat left blasting for 4 months, $400 more. And the new basement guy for a month, another $150. That is roughly $3,850 in stolen utility costs. So when you combine all of this, the leverage is just massive. RTDS officers routinely grant what's called a rent abatement, basically a retroactive discount, of around 15 to 20% for the total loss of an advertised amenity combined with a severe safety hazard. 20% of that rent over 24 months equals a massive $11,280 just for the deck. Add in the stolen utilities, and boom, you hit that staggering $15,130 potential payout. And since the lease was split, this pool of money belongs to the tenancy, meaning you and Mark would have a claim to a huge chunk of it. So here's the absolute crucial question. We know what the claim is worth on paper, but is fighting for the absolute maximum dollar amount in court actually the smartest strategic move? Let's weigh the legal reality against what the tenants actually need right now. Let's be real for a second and contrast the two paths. The RTDRS court route technically gives you the most raw money, but there are catches. Big ones. You're looking at weeks of delays waiting for a hearing, the absolute headache of tracking down and printing 2 years of utility bills, and a guaranteed countersuit. Why? Because roommates Cameron and Alicia bailed on May 30th without giving legal notice, so PPM will immediately countersue for the full June rent. Now, compare that to the alternative, Mark's plan. By demanding 2 months of completely free rent for June and July as a settlement, you save $4,700 in direct cash immediately. Zero court paperwork, immediate peace of mind, and it completely blocks the landlord's ability to sue you for that June rent because they agreed to waive it. Which brings us to the execution, the hybrid master strategy. This is where it gets really brilliant. The absolute best plan isn't choosing between going to court or settling. It's a hybrid. You use the official legal route purely as leverage. Step 1. You send an email threatening the $15,000 lawsuit, but you pair it with the threat of an Alberta Health Services inspection regarding that 7-foot drop. Step 2. You offer them an out. You essentially say, look, we won't report you if you give us 2 months of free rent. Step 3. Secure the cash. If health inspectors find that basement suite lacks proper safety features, they'll shut down the landlord's rental income entirely. You make the threat of court so terrifying that they willingly and quickly agree to the free rent. And why does this specific leverage work so perfectly? Well, landlords and property management companies literally hate the RTDS. A formal dispute forces PPM onto a recorded line to explain to a provincial officer exactly why they let tenants live with a dangerous 7-foot drop for 2 years and why they were illegally running utility bills. It exposes their bad faith practices to the exact authorities who can penalize them and opens them up to city inspections that could shut their basement suite down for good. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a David versus Goliath negotiation with a massive property management company, what is the true value of leverage? Is it holding out for months for the maximum penalty? Or is it using their own negligence against them to secure exactly what you need to survive a sudden roommate crisis today? Would you rather fight for months for a $15,000 check or secure $4,700 of instant peace of mind right now? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember, documentation is always your best defense.